What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are checking out a couple of rad Overdrive pedals from my homie Justice over at Fuzz Imp Effects. These are the Obtainium and the Shred 3D. Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar gear, I record it with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. You're welcome. So if you're into East End or thrash riffs, dropsy hardcore riffs, and dudes who are regretting wearing a hoodie right now because now I'm sweating my balls off, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button on the way out and subscribing so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! Alright guys, so today, as I said, we are checking out a couple of offerings from my buddy Justice over at Fuzz Imp Effects. Justice is based out of Portland, Oregon, and he, over the last couple of years, has kind of built his company, Fuzz Imp, from the ground up. And he's very active in the Facebook groups and the forums that I also am active in, so it's been really cool to see him kind of come up from basically building his first pedal, getting excited about building a kit pedal, into having all sorts of his own designs and all sorts of his own pedal lines, and watching the company grow into what it has become today and continuing to grow. I love seeing that stuff, especially because Justice is a super cool, super nice dude. So I actually asked him to send me a couple of his pedals here so I could demo them on the channel for the man, and hopefully I'm able to do them some justice. Pun! Alright, so what are we looking at here? The Shred 3D is essentially a high gain preamp pedal. Now you can kind of take this a couple of different ways, because as you heard in that intro clip, we were playing through that pedal and it was basically a preamp or distortion pedal the way that we had it set, but this thing also kind of functions as a TC integrated preamp style pedal because it's got an absolute ton of output, and as you see, once we boost the front end of the PV-XXX here, it's gonna give you that really bright, really clanky style of overdrive. So if you're tuning down, you really need to significantly tighten up an amp and kind of add some of that upper mid cut and definition. The Shred definitely fills that role, and the Obtainium is essentially just a very transparent style of overdrive, you know, kind of think in the Klon realm of things. But instead of having just a regular tone control, it's got an active mid boost here, so you can really kind of control how much mids you're putting into your signal. This thing has a lot of output, and if you bump that gain up, you can get a decent amount of clipping with this thing. So we're gonna try both of these into the clean channel of my love by an amp that I really like is what I'm trying to say, the PV-XXX. You guys know that I love the PV-XXX, and the clean channel on this thing is about as clean as they come, so we're gonna use that as our kind of bass tone. We're gonna run these as both preamps, and we are also going to boost the gain channels of the XXX and see how they perform in both roles. We, of course, are going through my Mesa 1999 traditional cab with the stock vintage 30s, SM57 on that vintage 30. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I actually asked Justice to send me a couple of his pedals to check out here with you guys on the channel. So in that way, this is a sponsored video, even though he's not paying me. But I just wanted to be upfront with you guys. I wanted to let you know. So feel free to take everything that I say here with a grain of salt, but just know that I'm not gonna say anything that I don't believe. So keep that in mind. All right, so for that intro clip, we had the Shred 3D on, and I also had a TS9 boosting this thing. This thing takes overdrives really, really well. But just to show you what we're working with as far as my clean tone, just to show you that it is a very clean tone, here it is. As sterile as the clean tones come, that's kind of what the XXX is known for, being an ultra clean, very good pedal platform. I did forget to mention we are playing with my 2001 Gibson Les Paul Classic here with a Seymour Duncan Black Winter in the bridge. So let's go ahead, we're gonna kick this pedal on again, And right now we're running it basically as a distortion pedal. So that is our tone. That is with no overdrive out front. To me, to my ears, it sounds like an 80s, almost kind of like scooped Marshall high gain tone. So let's take a look at the controls on this pedal real quick. Up top, we've got our gain, our tone, our volume, kind of your standard overdrive style controls. But on the bottom here, we've got a low control, a scoop, and a mid control. So with the low control, obviously that's going to adjust your lows, but I don't think that it works in a standard EQ sense. I don't know if that's by design or if that's just how it ended up on the pedal. Kind of more or less controls the low mids and the tightness, because if I boost it, all the way to the top, it doesn't really put that much more low end in the signal, but it kind of makes it sound a little bit more round. And if I pull it all the way out, it doesn't remove a ton of low end, but it kind of just tightens and focuses a little bit. But either way, it doesn't make a huge difference in the overall in the overall tone, I guess would be a good way to put it. But we're gonna put that back up around 11 o'clock. The scoop control. This really just kind of seems almost like a mid contour. I'm not exactly sure how it's designed, but if we dial it all the way down, it just kind of seems to accentuate the upper mids a lot. And the more you roll it on, the more things just kind of broaden out in the mid-range. So as you can see, real quacky, real thin with it dialed all the way down. Let's dial it up to noon. Kind of much more balance there, obviously, and it also seems to be having an effect on the output, probably because it's adding low mids, and all the way up. And as you can see, that's the most broad that it sounds in the mid-range, and it gives more output like that. And then finally over here, we have a mid control, which I have turned up pretty high. We're gonna turn it all the way down, run through the range real quick. Dial it up. And more. I definitely like it more as we get higher in the range. That almost has like an HM2 effect going on. It's like super, super boosted. Sounds pretty ridiculous. All right, so yeah, that is the pedal in a nutshell. Justice also did mention that the volume kind of had a relation to how much gain was on tap in this pedal. So right now I have the volume turned up pretty high. Let's actually turn the volume on the channel down even more, and we'll see if we can get even more gain out of this thing. Yeah, I mean, right now it's got a ton of gain. And like I said, that's reminding me of 80s modded Marshall thrash tones all day. I forgot what notes were at the end at the very last second there, so that was good. But anyways, you can probably pick up on what I'm telling you. Let's actually dial that gain back a little bit. think that's a really good sounding distortion pedal, honestly. I really dig it, especially if you are going for that modded Marshall style thing. So let's kick on the Tube Screamer real quick, and then we'll check out the Obtainium, but you'll see that this thing takes a boost really well. So the way we have it dialed, it is a little bit bright at the moment, so let's get a little bit more of that low end. Let's put that scoop up a little bit, pull the mid back. The tone actually has a big effect on this pedal as well. You can really brighten or darken this thing with the tone control. All right, so as you can see, like I said, it definitely just has that kind of nasally modded Marshall thing going on. I think that it sounds really, really cool. Let's turn off the Tube Screamer and let's turn on the Obtainium. This is a really thick and fat sounding boost, much like a Klon can tend to be. We're gonna pump that on real quick. With this particular Overdrive, if I was going for more of a doomy thing, it would definitely work, or with the Shred 3D, but that's not my typical tone. We're gonna see if I can combine it and get something I like out of it real quick. This mid control again is active. So it's gonna have a pretty big effect on the overall voicing. As you can see, it's getting pretty gnarly right there. Overall, it seems a little muffled at the moment though, this combination. As I said, that tone control has a lot of range to it. I don't know if you guys have ever used a Klon on high gain circuits before, but they're very fat sounding overdrive. So this thing has that going on very, very much. So let's turn that off. Let's turn this off, or no, actually let's try some lower output pickups real quick and see how this reacts, because these are very, very hot pickups. All right guys, I have my Heritage H150 with the Duncan Antiquity pickups. Woo, pretty much a night and day difference in the level of gain. Let's go ahead and turn that gain up on the pedal. Man, that is a very, very noticeable difference in the amount of overall gain available. Let's go ahead and push that volume back up on the pedal and pull it back down on the amp. So it does seem like we have a little more saturation. Let's dime it. Again, that is with no overdrive. Let's kick on that TS9 again. These pickups are unpotted, so let's turn that gain down. I think that sounds rad. I'm getting some pretty cool tones out of this thing, but let's try it into a gain channel and see how it actually functions as an overdrive. Same with the Obtainium. Let's go over to the crunch channel on the XXX. That's what we have with no pedal on. Let's set this thing up like a traditional overdrive. All right, so it definitely has that TC integrated preamp thing going on. Not my personal style of pedal, but if you guys are tuning down, which we will explore in just a minute, it's gonna do the thing that you want it to do. Let's pull the scoop back. I have no idea what I'm doing, but all right, let's turn that off. Let's check out the Obtainium though, because this is gonna thicken things up substantially. Yeah, if you want to thicken up your sound, this Overdrive is definitely the ticket. Let's push it all the way up. All right, let's experiment with that mid control. Let's pull it back a little bit. Very noticeable difference in the mid output. If you wanted to go full doomy boy, you could probably pull those mids back, add a little bit of clipping from the pedal. Yeah, I mean, massive, massive difference. Go ahead and boost those mids up all the way. This is probably gonna be ridiculous. Let's go ahead and pull the mids back and let's get a more reasonable tone going on here. And again, let's turn the pedal off. Here's what we have without it. Man, that is a massive amount of output that you're getting into the front of this amp. I dig it. Last but not least, let's try the Shred 3D with the guitar, a thick guitar tuned down, and see if we can get the best out of it. Alright guys, that is going to do it for me today on these fuzz imp pedals. What did you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Have you ever tried any of Justice's creations? Do you have any experience with them? And if so, what do you think? As far as what I got here in the room today, the Shred 3D as an actual preamp pedal. Really dug that, and I assume if I were to put this into maybe a clean power amp, it would work just as well, if not even better than through the clean channel of the XXX. I actually thought it got some cool, like I said, kind of thrashy 80s modded Marshall style gain tones out of it. Took an Overdrive really, really well. When we moved over to boosting an amp with it and using it as an actual Overdrive, not my thing. I just don't really like the super clanky TC integrated preamp style drive, but if you do, this is an option for you for sure, and it definitely has a little bit more control and a couple more options over some of the other standard offerings. So if that's your thing, this might be a good pedal for you. As far as the Obtainium, again, was like a clean Klon style boost. It had a ton of output, so if you're trying to push something like a JCM 800 into a much higher gain territory and thicken and fatten it up, this drive might be a good option for you. For me, again, I like my Overdrives to cut a little bit more. I did like what it was doing in front of the XXX. The way that I had it dialed when we ended, and that mid control was really, really useful. But overall, I think that this is gonna be for somebody who is looking to really push the output and really thicken up input of an amp that's maybe a little thinner and a little less saturated. I think that it does a great job at that. So if you wanna pick up either of these pedals, I will link down below to Fuzzamp's website. The Shred 3D is $150. The Obtainium is $140. These are all hand built by Justice himself. So if you want anything special, the man can also hook you up. Send him a message, find him on Facebook, whatever, I don't care. Thanks again to Justice for sending these out so I can check them out here on the channel. If you want to support the channel, what I do here down below in the description are my affiliate links like Zounds and Sweetwater. Anything that you guys buy from those affiliate links greatly helps the channel out, and I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this button on the way out. Like this button? Like my buttons. I've got buttons. You should like them. Hit the like button on the way out. Hope to see you guys again. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.